What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we saw undefeated, undisputed, junior welterweight, world champion, British superstar boxer, Josh Taylor, in action defending his titles against WBO mandatory fellow British countrymen in undefeated Jack Catterall, okay? And Josh Taylor, he had a very rough outing. Josh Taylor is now 19 wins, no losses, no draw. 13 wins by way of knockout. He is 31 years of age, 5'10" with a 69-inch arm reach. Okay, he came into the fight. Jack Catterall came into the fight at 26 wins, no losses, no draws, with 13 wins by way of knockout. Jack Catterall is 28 years of age, 5'7" with a 68-inch arm reach. With that said, this was a hard-fought, tough fight for Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was a heavy betting favorite, 16-1 odds in favor of Josh Taylor. He was expected to walk right through Jack Catterall, but he did anything but that, okay? He actually struggled. He faced adversity. I had him personally losing the first 6 rounds of the fight, and then he got dropped in the 8th round, okay? So he had no answer for Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall was a southpaw. He was being crafty. He was getting up underneath Josh Taylor's jab and his punches. And Josh Taylor, he seemed to have no answer for the left hand. So that brings into the conversation of undefeated 3-division world champion, superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis is 26 wins, no losses, no draw, 24 big wins by way of knockout. He is 27 years of age, 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. Okay. With that said, ahead of the fight, Josh Taylor, he called out Gervonta Tank Davis. Okay, he stated that if he needed to stay at junior welterweight for one more fight, it would be for Gervonta Tank Davis. And he called out Gervonta Tank Davis's promoter, legendary, retired, Hall of Fame, iconic superstar boxer, turned promoter and founder of Mayweather Promotion, that being Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. Okay, so Floyd Mayweather retired 50-0. He's the promoter of Gervonta Tank Davis, and Josh Taylor, he called out Gervonta Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather. He stated that they need to make the fight. If they want to truly consider Gervonta Tank Davis a champion at 140, then he needs to face me for my belt, okay? And after Josh Taylor's performance against Jack Catterall, the fans are calling for Floyd Mayweather to start negotiations with legendary promoter, Top Rank CEO and promoter Bob Arum, and Top Rank, who promote Josh Taylor, okay? Now, Josh Taylor, he has his sights also set on a mega fight with the last undisputed junior welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is a 3-division world champion, and currently the WBO, World Boxing Organization, welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound boxer in the world, and Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is 38 wins, no losses, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. So with that said, Josh Taylor's been calling for a fight with Terence Crawford. Josh Taylor is also a southpaw. Terence Crawford has the ability to switch from southpaw to orthodox very fluidly. The problem is Terence Crawford was also signed to Top Rank and ESPN and Bob Arum. And after his most recent fight, which was the biggest fight in his career against 2-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who's now retired, Showtime Sean Porter, November 20th of 2021, in which Terence Crawford, he did what never been done to Sean Porter, dropped him twice in one fight, and ultimately got the stoppage, which caused Sean Porter's father, trainer, and manager, Kenny Porter, to wave the white towel. So with that said, Terence Crawford, after the fight, parted ways with Top Rank Bob Arum. He told Bob Arum, you couldn't secure the big fights in the Errol Spence fight for me when I was with you. Now you definitely won't be able to secure the fights when I'm not with you. Not only that, Terence Crawford is now taking Top Rank and Bob Arum to court, citing that they dropped the ball on his career. They never fulfilled any obligations that they told him that they were going to fulfill. They never got the big fights for him. They never secured, the big checks and the big legacy fights for him, and now he's suing them for $10 million. So it's going to be very difficult for Top Rank to negotiate currently as it stands, because Terence Crawford is still in a court battle, legal battle with Top Rank and Bob Arum. So Bob Arum, he felt like this is a money play on the part of Terence Crawford. He stated that Terence Crawford is simply at this point in time looking to just get money out of him. And, there's no court, there's no judge in the world that's going to rule in Terence Crawford's favor. Okay, we know Bob Arum, he's on record stating that Terence Crawford, he lost so much money on him he could build a mansion in Beverly Hills from scratch. We know Bob Arum doesn't view Terence Crawford in high regards. He doesn't believe he's a big draw and a big sell and worth the investment. Okay, so with that said, I'm hard pressed to see Terence Crawford now, because he's a network promotional free agent and taking Top Rank and Bob Arum to court. I cannot see Terence Crawford now suddenly negotiating with Top Rank and Bob Arum for a fight with Josh Taylor. Okay, and now we know Josh Taylor has been calling for this fight. We know Bob Arum said it was realistic at one point in time, but now there's a relationship has been breached. Okay, and so with that said, it's a strained relationship. So I'm hard pressed to see Terence Crawford finishing a legal battle, whether they rule in his favor or not, and then negotiate for a fight with Josh Taylor and get what he's looking for. Okay, I'm very hard pressed to see that happening. So the next best option for Josh Taylor, but now Josh Taylor, he's looking to push Terence Crawford because he's the WBO champion. He holds all 4 belts, but he holds the key to Terence Crawford, which is the WBO title, because Terence Crawford is the WBO champion at 147, and Josh Taylor is the WBO champion at 140. So the way the World Boxing Organization works is that their champion at a weight class below, should they move up, they make them the automatic, instant, mandatory challenger for the fighter in the weight class above that their fighter is moving up to. So Josh Taylor has the opportunity to put himself in position to be the mandatory challenger for Terence Crawford. But again, it may go to purse bid, but Terence Crawford, there's rumors that Terence Crawford could link up with MTK Global, but he doesn't have a network and a promotional company. So if it goes to a purse bid, who's going to represent him? Okay, now if it does go to a purse bid, anybody can win that purse bid. Okay, we know that Triller won the purse bid when Top Rank had fighter Teofimo Lopez, former unified lightweight world champion, superstar boxer, facing off against George Kambosos Jr., who's the newly crowned unified lightweight world champion. And George Kambosos was his IBF mandatory challenger. George Kambosos Jr. is not with Top Rank and Bob Arum. He's with Lou DiBella. Okay, and so with that said, they went to a purse bid. Bob Arum, Top Rank, they didn't view it as high in high regard, so they bid $2.3 million. Then you had Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn. He came in and bid $3.2 million. Well, then you had Triller come in and bid a whopping $6 million in winning the fight. Okay. And so with that said, most recently, you had another Eddie Hearn fighter, 2-division undefeated world champion, superstar boxer Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade in action. Okay. And he went to a purse bid with Zach Parker, and Demetrius Andrade, that fight has been won by Eddie Hearn's biggest rival in the UK, in Queensberry Promotions, legendary promoter and CEO, Frank Warren. He won the purse bid for Zach Parker and Demetrius Andrade. So it's not unheard of. So maybe there's a promotional company that'll step in and bid high on Terence Crawford, Josh Taylor, and allow the fight to take place without involving Top Rank and Bob Arum. They'll outbid Top Rank and Bob Arum. And so at the end of the day, what will happen is that Josh Taylor will have to pay Bob Arum a portion of his purse to Top Rank and Bob Arum, and then he'll be his talents will be showcased on another platform. So that's a huge possibility. Maybe Frank Warren steps in and bids with Queensberry Promotion. He has a relationship with Bob Arum, so he'll keep a close tab on Josh Taylor if Frank Warren came in and outbid everybody, and the fight takes place on Queensberry Promotions and in BT Sports in the UK. So that's a huge possibility. But again, now you're telling Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford, he just most recently, he gave a lot of high praise to the UK and the fan base as he was over helping 2-division world champion, superstar British boxer Amir Khan with his legendary United Kingdom showdown with Kell Brook. Okay, so he was helping train Amir Khan, help prepare Amir Khan for the fight with Kell Brook, and he was obviously in attendance. And he stated that the hospitality and the love and the support he got from the fans in the UK was like no other, and he can't wait to fight over there. So maybe Terence Crawford welcomes the opportunity to fight Josh Taylor in the UK. But with that said, there's a huge roadblock in between Terence Crawford and Josh Taylor. Okay, so all of these things will have to fall in place for that fight to come to fruition. That's not the case with Gervonta Tank Davis and Josh Taylor, because we know that Tank Davis fights at 130, 135, and 140. Okay, and so now the fans and the boxing pundits are calling for Floyd Mayweather to negotiate after witnessing the way Jack Catterall had much success in the southpaw stance. He's only 2 inches taller than Gervonta Tank Davis. He has a 1-inch arm reach advantage over Gervonta Tank Davis. So that size difference didn't matter against Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor struggled with the stature of Jack Catterall. He couldn't. He had to punch down, and he just couldn't seem to gauge the distance and the range of Jack Catterall. So he was, stumbling all over the place. He looked very sloppy. He was jabbing and then falling on Jack Catterall. So, it looked like he was, having an issue with the size. And then the left hand, the trajectory of the left hand from Jack Catterall, he just seemed to never be able to gauge, okay? So he just never seemed to be able to gauge the distance and the left hand and the trajectory, where it was coming from. It was hitting him at will, and as well as Jack Catterall's jab. But you look at Gervonta Tank Davis, he's a much better athlete than Jack Catterall. He has a much better left hand. He has far more power. He's quicker. He has quicker twitch fiber muscles, a better jab, more accurate with his punches, quicker feet. He's stronger than Jack Catterall. So that means that he would possibly, if Jack Catterall hurt Josh Taylor a few times and dropped him with a left hand that he'd never seen and never made adjustment to, he would have a huge issue with what Gervonta Tank Davis is bringing to the table. And I think that Floyd Mayweather, Leonard Ellaby, Mayweather Promotions and CEO, I think that they need to immediately jump on the opportunity to fight Josh Taylor, because even if Josh Taylor pushes the WBO to mandate Terence Crawford, are they going to do it next for it to go to a purse bid? You understand? Maybe it may not happen to a fight or two down the line for the WBO to give him the opportunity. Now, we know when Terence Crawford moved up to 147 from 140, when he was the undisputed champion, he challenged Jeff Horn, immediately became the mandatory. They immediately made the fight, okay? So maybe that's the route that they go. But if they're not, this is a huge opportunity and a huge, legacy fight, and a way to you want to make Gervonta Tank Davis a legit official pound for pound fighter and an official pay-per-view king. This is the way to do it. He would garner so many. He already has a huge fan base. He's already considered a cash cow from 140 on down. But you put him in there with Josh Taylor and make that fight, and he beats Josh Taylor, his star power goes absolutely through the roof. It solidifies everything they've been saying. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Road. Make sure you like and share your videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.